This is going to be kind of a fun video. I've never done this before. I'm going to introduce queens using these push-in queen cages. Talking to Cayman Reynolds and watching some videos from Gus Mitchell and Michael Palmer. It looks like it's a way to go if you have issues with queen introduction. It'll help to guarantee a better result. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Number one, I'm going to show you how I made the cages. Number two, I'm going to show you how I introduced the queens into the cages. And number three, I'm going to release the queens from the cages. So come with me now to my kitchen where I made these cages, and I'll show you how I did it. Tonight I want to show you how I've been doing these queen introduction cages, these pushing cages. I've heard that they really help improve the acceptance of queens when you put them in your hives. And so basically we just have some number 8 hardware cloth here. They're about 4 inches this way and about 5 inches that way. They can be 4x4. I don't know if the exact specifications matter that much. All right, so this hardware cloth right here is 24 inches, that's 2 feet. So I've been doing 6-inch sections in this direction and 7-inch sections this way. This original piece that I have was 24 inches by 60 inches, which should be enough to make 32 of these cages. I've already made quite a few of them. So with my block here, I've got it measured 7 inches. And so I'm gonna measure off 7 inches like this. Just a little mark right here. Just going to that mark right there. Just kind of doing this to get my little guide. I'm taking this piece of cardboard. Don't know where my yardstick is, so this is what I've been using. Just line it up right here. I've just been doing my line. Then we've just been using some tin snips and we've been cutting it along this line. Okay. With this being 24 inches wide, we can do 4 little cages this way. So that's why I have the 6-inch mark on here like this. So I just measure it like this, put a mark right here basically. It doesn't have to be exact. The person I saw making these to kind of help give me a guide was Gus Mitchell, and it doesn't have to be exact. The queen's not going to care if it's a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch off or whatever. So I'll just go ahead and measure this way to get 4 sections. And this is actually a little bit longer than 24 inches or a little bit wider, so I just cut it off that bottom piece a little bit there. It's actually probably more like 25 inches wide. And of course we just cut these sections off. So you cut each section off like this. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna say approximately 7 inches by 6 inches, which is what we want. So you see here I've got this mark, this line right here drawn as well. I measured 1 inch from the top to the bottom. You want the sides of the cage to be right around 1 inch to go down into the comb. If you're putting it in comb with plastic foundation, it'll stop at the plastic foundation, but either way, that will allow the edge of the cage to kind of penetrate the comb a little bit in order to kind of help it stay in place and to trap the queen in there so she can't escape for a few days until you decide to release her. So I just line it up right here on this line, right there, that's 1 inch. Fold it over, and I actually go ahead and get a nice sharp edge right there. Do it both sides. These are the long sides is how I've been doing it. I think you can do it either way. I don't know if it matters that much. Line it up on that line, like this, sharp. I actually had a line lined up right here where you can get it 1 inch and snip it just a little bit more than 1 inch. But what I've been doing, I kind of been eyeballing it. And I just take it and I get to the last little section right there and I go up at least maybe about 1.25 inches, a little more than 1 inch. I just make sure I got plenty of room there and cut it on each side. About like that. If it's a little more than 1 inch, it's okay. It really needs to be a little more than 1 inch. Got my little guide right here on 1 inch on the end. Put it on the guide, fold it once again like this. Same thing down here. Then we've got a little cage made. And I've just been using a simple stapler. Stapler like this right here. Just take these corners and fold them over like this. The difficult part is getting to it. Take the stapler and staple it. like that. And then I've been taking these little cheap pliers, making sure the staples are nice and tight right there. And then I just do all 4 corners like that. Staple it. And there you have your cage. Of course, I'm going to just press these down really good. I think it's important to fold it on the outside because these little sharp edges right here, you don't want them to be inside and catch that queen. They tend to sit a little bit uneven the way I'm doing it, so I'll just take them and kind of gently bend them, and they end up being okay. And then, of course, when you push them down the comb, you can push them in flat, and you can kind of make sure they're in there really good. That's how I'm making these cages. I'm excited about it. I've been having issues with queen acceptance this year, so I'm going to try this. I think it makes a lot of sense as to how it works. The next part of this video, I'm going to take you out to the bee yard, and we're going to try and introduce some queens using these cages. Okay, so now that you see how the queen cages are made, I want to take just a minute and show you how I'm preparing these colonies for the new queens. I've already completed this hive stand. I did it yesterday. It got too hot for me. I had to quit. Temperatures were in the mid to upper 90s, probably heat index well over 100, I think 105 to 110. It was crazy, and I was going to have a heat stroke if I stayed out here, so I had to leave. You see, it's kind of a mess. This particular hive was super packed out with bees. You can see it's still got a lot of population here, bees hanging out on the front. It was a double deep, but I added a new deep on there. Shook all the bees down into the bottom box, and then moved it over there. Should have the queen in it, never found her. And then, so that leaves these queenless. There's brood in both of those boxes. So here in a few minutes, I'm just gonna split those up and move one of them, probably the bottom box, off, and then that'll make another split for me there. I'm just kind of doing it, whatever I think will work on all these colonies, so it's gonna be some different techniques. And this video really isn't about the process of preparing or splitting the bees, but I just thought I'd take a couple of minutes here and kind of show you what I'm doing. Just a quick example, when I'm pulling these splits out here, this is a double deep packed out with bees. I found the queen, they're a little feisty. I went ahead and pinched her, ended up turning that double deep into 3 colonies. So these are 2 5-frame nukes right here, as you can see, and they didn't have a ton of bees in them initially. But I dropped them right here on the original spot, and let me show you the original bottom box of the donor colony. It's right up here. So still plenty of bees here. You look in there, lots of bees. What's happening is the foragers are flying home and they're filling these boxes up. So that's the best way I felt like I could make sure these colonies had enough population to get these new queens accepted. My wife just went to the post office and picked up the queens. Now she's leaving, and here they are. So I'm just gonna let them chill out for a little while I continue to make these splits and everything. Let the bees get a little settled down, then I'll come back later and introduce the queens. Just had a little rain roll through, a little thunderstorm, and now the sun's back out. It's cooled down. It's actually quite nice out here now. So here are the queens. Here's how they're delivered. Pretty cool stuff. I was able to procure a few queens from Michael Palmer. Put some in the queen box. Well, it started raining again. Looked at the radar. Looks like it settled in for a while. It's not raining real hard. I think I'm going to go ahead and set up and try and introduce some of these queens right now. We do have some thunder, so I have to be careful. I've got 30 of them to do, so I better get started and see what happens. Okay, it's my first time doing this, and we're doing it in the rain. What a day. It's just barely drizzling right now. Maybe we can get this done without it being too crazy. Now I'm gonna crack this open. They might be feisty because they don't have a queen right now. And remember, we're trying to tame some mean hives, and so this one was a little bit feisty. Okay, so I'm gonna try and find some brood. Should be a very simple process. Okay, we have some brood right through here. I think I'm gonna do it right here. We have some brood right here. I'm gonna shake all the bees off. Okay, it's my first time doing this. Let's see how it works. Got the cage right here. The idea is you wanna put it over brood, and as that brood emerges while she's in here, so there's an emerging brood right there, a little baby bee coming out, and that's what you want to see. As those little babies emerge, then she can start laying in those slots. I'm going to try it this way. I'm trying to figure out how to get the queen in there. We got thunder. I might not be able to do it much longer without taking a break, but I'm going to cut a little door here. Maybe that's wide enough for the cage. Just about right. I'll take the cork out. Put in the cage like that and release her. It's not quite wide enough. It's gonna have to work. Kind of like that. So I'm gonna take the cork out. We're gonna take the cork out on the end where there is no candy. The candy's here, the cork's right there. As I release her, I'm gonna hold my finger over the hole, like that. Go ahead and press the cage into the, you want to push it down in there till it hits the foundation or so. I'm gonna put this up again. Oop, we got bees in there. All right, so this is not going exactly as planned. Shake those bees off. Put the cage over it like this. There we go. I'll be a little more graceful next time. I'm just trying to figure this out for the first time. Okay, like I say, I've got my finger over the hole, put it right up against the opening, and hopefully she'll go on out of there. Some of them are going in there. Go ahead, queen. Gus Mitchell says if you blow on it, it'll, oh, there she goes. Oh, she came back in. She's a little shy. There she goes. Okay, she's in there. And close the little gate. Make sure it's inserted down into the comb. All right, she's got to be in there. It's just hard to see with the weather the way it is. Oh yeah, there she is, I see her. All right, she's in there. We'll come back in about 4 days, I think is what they say to do. And see how they look. First time doing this. Hopefully it'll work out okay. 1 down, 29 to go. Well, I'm getting the hang of it, maybe. Queen's right over here. I did have one fly away on me though, dadgummit. When I picked up the cage slightly to be able to close the little door, somehow she found the crack and took off. Aggravating. Gotta figure something out here. Getting near the end of it, and the queen is in there. See her, she's right up there in the top. See the red dot up there. But what I do is I gently push kind of the edge of the cage in just a little bit so it doesn't pop up on the edge, and when the door is open, slide the cage under there, release the queen, let her walk around a little bit, let her get comfortable in there. Some of them come shooting out of there like a calf in a rodeo, in a calf roping contest, and so this one didn't. She was pretty calm, but with the cage barely pushing the edge, then I can close the door over here before I press the cage down into the wax to get it all lined up without picking the edge of the cage all the way up to line it up and then putting it back down. I think that's what I was doing before, and that's how that one queen escaped. I haven't had any more escape, so I've been lucky, but it's been a process. When I popped this hive open, I actually saw a queen in here. I happened to know where she belonged, and so I went and put her where she belonged, but I'm glad I didn't stick this queen in there with that queen still in here. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. A while ago when that queen flew away, some of the bees from the hive got in there with those worker bees, and they were balling them up, they were killing them, and so I'll make sure no worker bees in the cage from the original hive. And kind of make sure the cage is lined up the way I want it, make sure all the edges are at least touching the frame. You might have to push it down just a little bit. I've got the door kind of started there, but I don't want it all the way open because I don't want any of those worker bees to wander in. I'm going to take out the cork from the non-candy side, cover it with my finger right here. And raise the flap of the door up, stick in there like that. Tends to take her a while to get out of there sometimes. I found that if I give them a gentle little puff of smoke, sometimes it can help. But they can be, she hopped right out. See, there she is. You probably can't see her. She's in there though. She just went back in the cage. I think they really like to have some workers out there with them. She went out again. None of the workers have gone out yet. Every queen is just so different. It's kind of interesting to see. She's just running around in there like crazy. See her big hiney over here? That's why you gotta be sure that you don't lift an edge up when she's running around. That's what happened to me when that one got away. As long as she's like up here away from the door, you can go ahead and remove them, but she's just nuts. Anyway, I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna bring it over. And since I didn't start to push it in too far, I don't have to pick it up really. Make sure this is lined up good. And now I'm gonna press it down and in until I feel like it's down against the plastic foundation. Now I'll go put it in the hive. How's that look for a split? Put the cage down in. Then I'm just going to take this next frame over. Make room for this frame. Put an X and an arrow, meaning that the cage is on that side. That's it. It's been a long day, but it's been a great day. Been out here from about 7:30 till, it's probably pushing 6:25, 6:30 now, so about 11 hours. All the hives here with the vertical bricks are Michael Palmer queens. What an adventure it's been. You see the bee yard's kind of a mess. I'm gonna have to clean that up later. I'm not gonna worry about it today. Got the boxes sitting out vertical here so the bees can kind of clean it up a little bit. So this right here is my traditional Ozark bee yard. But wait, there's more. Dropped some pallets over here. The one with the vertical brick there was one of the more aggressive hives I have. That queen has been dispatched and a new queen is in there. I moved a lot of the original queens over here. The foragers could fly back and help populate the splits. And the queens shouldn't skip a beat. A lot of them are pretty strong, and I don't dislike all these queens. Some of them are pretty good, so we'll leave them alone and see how they do. One of Corey Stevens' VSH queens there. And over here we got a few more pallets. And so I counted, got 53 total out here now. Am I crazy or am I crazy? I'll check back with you in a few days when we pull the queens from the cages. All right, y'all, it's time for step 3. It's been 5 days. Let's get in here and check on these bees and release some queens. Okay, moment of truth. First ever release of a queen from a push-in queen cage here at Bruce's Bees. Well, they seem pretty calm in here, and this is one of the more feisty colonies previously. The cage is right in here. Take this out over here so I can slide them apart better. I'm seeing some queen cells right here, which if the queen is doing well, I'll go ahead and destroy those. All right, there are quite a few bees in there with her. Hopefully that means that's brood that emerged. Yep, she's in there. I see her moving around, I see the red dot. The idea is that that brood that was underneath her, looks like this frame must have been some brood that was about ready to emerge. They'll emerge in there with the queen. She should have started laying already, hopefully. I don't know where she went. I did see her. It's kind of hard with the screen to see. Well, I'm not sure where she went. I know I saw her. Oh, where'd she go? There are eggs all in there though. She's laying. Oh, I don't know where she went though. There are eggs in every cell though in that cage. So she was in there. I saw the red dot. Oh, there she is right there. She ran around to the opposite side of the frame. She's right here, see her? And the bees have definitely accepted her. They're perfectly happy with her. Man, she got around that frame in a hurry. Right here. She's dark. Sometimes those dark queens are hard to see. So see how happy they are? They've accepted her. She's just doing her thing. She's about to lay an egg right there, I think, or anyway. We're 1 for 1. I want to go through here and just look for any queen cells that I might see and destroy them. So we've plowed our way through a bunch of them. We're probably a little over halfway done now. And what I found is somehow the bees have released several of the queens already. They've been laying. I saw many of the queens. They look good. I've had 2 that were dead outs because of hive beetles. They just weren't strong enough splits, I guess. Thought we'd go in here and see what we find. It hasn't gone exactly like I planned. I see several queen cells on here. We'll just kind of leave those alone until we find out if we've got a queen situation here. This was actually a queen from Greg Burns at Nature's Image Farm last summer, and they've done extremely well. Their attitude has been pretty good overall. So if they have to make their own queen, I'm going to be okay with that. I've also found that as I try to pull the frames apart, sometimes the cage just gets pulled apart as well. So I think sometimes I'm releasing the queen when I do that. So I've been trying to pull 2 frames out at once. When I put some of these cages in, I didn't close this door good enough, or else they kind of pushed it open somehow. So I think they've been sneaking out around the cracks there. So no eggs in there, so they must have released her pretty quick. Some of them have had eggs in there. The next thing I'm doing is I'm looking for eggs in the cells. I found a lot of eggs in here where the queens have escaped and they've been laying. I hope that's the case here as well. Although I tend to doubt it with all these queen cells being made. Yeah, I think this one is a fail. So I think I've got to figure out a little better system for doing this. I think I've had more queens that have escaped than not. So what should I do here? What I'm gonna do is just leave the queen cells alone because I don't see eggs in here. If I saw a bunch of eggs in here, I would probably destroy the queen cells, meaning that that queen has been released. But in this particular case, that's not what I'm finding. So I say let's just let the bees do their thing. So those queen cells right here, I'm just gonna leave them alone. Almost like a walk-away split. Just let the bees do whatever they wanna do. A little frustrated. Had a lot that looked really good, but well, those queens that got released, either by me or by the bees, and are out in their laying, they are doing a tremendous job. Finally found a couple that worked exactly right. The last one I did down there on one of the pallets was perfect. The queen was in here. Lots of baby bees had emerged underneath there from the brood. And this colony right here is the same way. I see the queen down in there. Maybe she won't run off too fast when I pull this off. I know I saw her. There she is right there. Right there. And right here. She's kind of runny. The bees are not at all upset by her though. They seem perfectly happy. Oh yeah, she's been laying all up in here. I'm glad this adventure's over. It didn't turn out like I'd hoped it would, but what do you do? We had 19 confirmed takes out of 29. We found 2 queens in colonies that were either dead or almost dead, so I put them in different colonies. So we have 8 maybes or failures, and we had 4 confirmed dead outs. If you'd like to watch a honey harvest video from this year, you can watch it right here. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. Whew.